everyone. My name's Mark Westwood. I work for a company called Brook Green Supply. Just to give you a bit of an introduction to Brook Green Supply, probably not a already known name to many of you. We operate in the industrial and commercial space, supplying gas and electricity contracts, as well as various PPAs, RGGOs, renewable green gas origination certificates, REGOs, renewable energy guarantees of origin. We do like an abbreviation and acronym in this industry, as well as structured energy solutions. I think the key point there is that customers are different. Everybody has a different view, different appetite, different cost centre, different outlook on life. We also then work with developers and generators. So we also work with those renewable generators that are producing solar, offshore wind, onshore wind. We buy their PPAs, we buy their electricity, and we also buy their certificates. And we provide a route to market for both. And again, that's probably one of the biggest challenges in this space at the moment in time, is what is that route to market? How does it look and feel? So I'm probably going to focus a little bit more on the renewable energy guarantees of origin, the REGOs, and I'm going to start using the acronym and abbreviation. The REGO market, it's fair to say, is that this is a highly illiquid and opaque market. It's really lacking in transparency. What we've seen over the last 2 years is extreme volatility, and that is both supply and demand, but also regulatory and various other influences and factors that have caused this market to be volatile. Historically, I remember working for an offshore wind developer that was selling REGO certificates for next to nothing. We actually gave them away a lot of the time. There was no value to them. During actually the latest compliance period, so apologies, CP22 is the latest compliance period that operates between 2023 and 2024, we saw prices trading up to just shy of £25 a megawatt hour. That's actually greater than many of the non-commodity costs that you would have been paying on your electricity invoices. Today, consumers are trying to fathom out as to the value to those REGO certificates. What is it? Is it CSR? Is it cash value? What is it? What does it mean to them? Is it marketing? A whole raft of questions that need to be answered. On the flip of that, you also have the generators, the producers of these certificates, are also looking at how they can optimise those certificates. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword when we look at the price of REGOs. An off-taker, cheap as possible, wants to go green. A developer, trying to optimise assets. They've got to finance these assets. So just to give you a bit of an overview and a visual as to, this is, again, compliance period 2022. So this is looking at 2023 and 2024, completed at the end of March this year. You'd have seen that actually, as of the 1st of April, guarantees of origin, which is European certificates, were no longer valid as of the 1st of April. You then start to see an exponential increase in terms of prices. Demand has increased. We've touched on the Renewable Energy 100 list. So this is a consortia of what is now probably over 400 energy consumers that need to buy these green certificates to offset their carbon on electricity contracts. We go back to supply agreements. So the supply and demand actually then happened. I also want to show you to the right-hand side of this graph. So this was actually a week before this compliance period actually ended. So again, what happened in that market? Prices went down to just below £2.50. So trading at a max, £25. If I were to take this slide to the left-hand side, those prices would have been probably down at around 10p. So again, the volatility in this marketplace is huge. The problem is the lack of transparency. Why did that happen? Slightly know why that peak happened, but in between, then what happened? It's really difficult to identify what happens in this space. So I just wanted to give a little bit of an overview, because again, working with industrial and commercial customers, it's clear is that when it comes to green certificates, there's no one size that fits all. There's different views, there's different appetites. And again, we actually saw and still see customers looking at PPAs. If I listen to probably 50% of the speeches today, it's a lot about these power purchase agreements. Great things. Ultra green, emerald green, as people might sort of say, untouchable. You might also hear about time matching. So we're seeing generators producing kilowatt hours versus a customer's consumption. Great. Potentially still a bit opaque, but again, we'll live with it. REGOs, huge amount of bad press about REGOs at this moment in time. Slightly unfair. Slightly get it, but again, if you've got traceability connected to these REGOs, it's still a good thing. Customers are going on a journey. I think if you go from a standing start, taking what we would call brown power, so that's non-REGO back to power, to go on that journey to a corporate PPA, you would not go from brown power straight to a corporate PPA. I can assure you of that. Such a complex process. If you've done it, great. You've probably got some advisory services that you're taking on board. We actually then saw a lot of electricity clients actually only buy proportions of REGOs for their consumption that they needed to provide those sort of green certificates to their supply chain, maybe one of their customers. We've seen that, so they're not buying these certificates for 100% of their consumption. Actually seen a lot of customers that actually turned around and said REGO prices went to a certain price. Different prices, I can't say there's one size fits all, but different prices where customers said, I'm just not going to buy them. Those certificates are just way too costly. Again, all of a sudden they're adding £1-2 million to budgets. People saying, I just can't do it. You know, I get the CSR impact, I get the marketing impact, but maybe I'll do it in 12, 18 months' time when we think this market's going to return back to some sort of normality. I don't have that crystal ball. I can't second guess where these prices are going to go. Volatility remains. I actually sat and stood in front of an audience 4 years ago upstairs and talked about risk management. Risk management of these products is potentially the way forward or a consideration. We then also saw a lot of customers actually stop buying Regos. A lot of ready known names that sort of said, not going to do it, can't do it, don't have the budget, it's not for me. Also, a lot of customers, I need educating. How do you help me? How do you help me on this journey? Because again, just don't know it. I talk about an opaque market. What's transparency? What can I do? What are the options available? We also then saw customers, when you saw that peak of up to just £23.50, customers have bought these at £8 and £9 and then turning around saying, oh, I can sell these back. And actually, for my bottom line, that's really good. And we saw quite a lot of that. We saw some significant volume from previously bought Rego customers on a Rego back to electricity supply agreement, then being sold back. It happens. And again, I think that's something that we've never seen in this marketplace before. And again, I think that just really does reiterate the point is that there's no one size that fits all when you look at Rego and green certificates. I can talk about green gas certificates. Again, a highly opaque market, lack of transparency. It's not like electricity and gas where you can see a trading screen and you can see lots of prices. There's lots of bids and there's lots of offers. With these certificates, it's limited. And you're probably dealing with developers directly, which is, again, what we try and do. So as I sort of said 4 years ago, I sat in front of an audience and talked about risk management and how actually when you buy your electricity and gas contracts, again, having a risk management strategy, understanding what the risks and your pain points are. Are you trying to maybe not achieve the best price? Procurement always like to achieve the best price. How doable is that? Actually, I'm mitigating risk. And similarly with these green certificates, again, I'm specifically highlighting on Regos here just because of real volatility in it. If I also talked about RGGOs, these certificates were trading at £35 a megawatt hour, dependent on the technology. Now probably trading around £15 a megawatt hour. And okay, what does that mean? Actually, with a green gas certificate, it means nothing at all. You're just buying certificates, very good marketing, but actually you're not offsetting anything. So again, with these certificates, the optionality is the market will be volatile. We've got I don't know if people know this, there's a general election this week. I don't know if it's been in the news at all. Who knows what that might mean? Again, is GB Energy going to exist? Actually, the Labour manifesto talks about guarantees of origin being brought back into the Rego market. What does that mean to prices? Part of that increase to £25 a megawatt hour, or just shy of £25 a megawatt hour, was because of the removal of guarantees of origin from the UK fuel mix disclosure, which is what suppliers have to submit as part of their fuel stack. So again, what I wanted to say, there's lots of options. You don't have to buy your Rego certificates connected to your electricity supply agreement. You can unbundle them. You can separate them out. There's different technologies that you consider. There's the expensive, which is probably wind, slightly cheaper, biomass. But there's technologies in between that again. You saw on one of the graphs before, different times of the year, there's different options, and the markets vary. What I would say is, and I might say this, talk to your supplier. Talk to me. I'm very open to talk to customers. I like to work in a partnership. You're all different. You're all unique. You all operate in your own special way. That's great. That's fine. If I know what people are trying to achieve, what your aims, your targets are, what time frame, I'm pretty sure I might not give you the absolute answer that you want, but I will give you an answer. And I'll give you the support to help you on that journey. And again, working with our trading team, talking about where things are going, what the future of this market is.